Welcome, seeker of stillness and depth, to old Buddhist philosophy, a temple beyond walls, a sanctuary of breath and awakening. In a world that spins faster each day, you have chosen to slow down, to listen, to arrive, and perhaps to remember. You are not here by chance. There is a rhythm in the universe that the eyes cannot see, yet the soul never forgets. It hums beneath all things, beneath the movement of planets, the rise and fall of your breath, and the numbers that gently follow you like shadows of a deeper truth. And in this sacred moment, as we step into the energetic garden of August 2025, that rhythm grows louder, clearer, more insistent. This month, the cosmos leans close. Saturn, the great teacher, stands tall in its silent watch, bringing lessons of structure, truth, and karmic realignment. Mercury moves with a quickening pulse, activating thought, speech, and clarity. Together, they carve a quiet path through the fog, one lit not by bright lights, but by sacred numbers, not digits, not data, but living energies, pulsing invitations. For those rooted in ancient paths, Buddhism, astrology, numerology, this is not unfamiliar. We know numbers are not static. They breathe. They reflect the unfolding of Dharma. They mark thresholds in our evolution. When the Buddha walked 7 steps after his birth, the earth did not tremble by accident. When the lotus opens from the mud, it does so in sacred timing, not before, not after. In the same way, these numbers come to you now. 6 sacred frequencies, 6 inner mirrors, 6 cosmic companions, sent not to predict, but to align, to awaken what has always been within you. They carry the momentum of transformation, manifestation, financial insight, energetic awakening, and above all, spiritual clarity. And if you're here, it's likely because your soul is already listening. You've seen them on clocks, on receipts, on license plates. You've felt them in the quiet hours. That is no coincidence. That is resonance. Even seers like Baba Vanga spoke of signs that arrive in the silence, in the repetition, in the symbols we dismiss, until our inner eye opens. The universe never stops speaking. We simply forget how to listen. But today, you are remembering. So, before we begin, take a slow breath. Let the noise of the outer world soften. Allow your shoulders to drop. Let this not be just another video, but a sacred passage. Tap the like button, not out of habit, but as a gesture of presence, your way of saying, I am here for more than entertainment. I am here to remember. Subscribe to Old Buddhist Philosophy, and in the comments below, anchor this truth. I align with the numbers that guide me to prosperity. Let it echo through the space around you like a bell at dawn. Because what follows is not advice, it is transmission. It is coded energy meant only for those who are ready to receive. This is not for the distracted, this is for the still, for the sincere, for the seeker who knows that the soul speaks in quiet, patient symbols. And now, as the winds of August gather around you, as the planets arrange themselves into their ancient patterns, we begin the sacred unveiling. 6 numbers, 1 hidden master key. And the first whisper comes from the silent builder, the grounded visionary. Number 22, the path of practical wisdom. There comes a time in every soul's journey when vision begins to feel heavier than dream. Not because it is a burden, but because it is ready. It begins to take shape, to press gently against the rolls of your inner world, asking to be born into the outer one. This quiet threshold, this turning from dream into discipline, is the sacred territory of number. It is not a number that arrives with noise. It does not burst through the doors of destiny like lightning. Instead, it arrives like dawn, silent, steady, unmistakably clear. It comes for those who have been preparing inwardly, perhaps without even knowing it. It comes when the soil of your life has been tilled by lessons, softened by humility, watered by longing, and now, finally, is ready to hold the seed. In the ancient art of numerology, 22 is known as the master builder, not because it builds with haste or grandeur, but because it builds with presence. It carries the vibration of form and function, of soul translated into structure. And this is no small task. Few can build the dream while keeping its spirit alive. Fewer still can do so without ego. But 22 is here to guide you in that sacred task. To remind you that spirituality is not only stillness in meditation, but devotion in action. It is the patience behind each humble step. It is the sacredness in scheduling, the mindfulness in movement, the peace in planning. This number asks, can you anchor the divine into your daily choices? Can you translate the language of intuition into the shape of your life? In August 2025, the planets echo this same call. Saturn, the karmic guide, lends its discipline. Mercury, the messenger, opens the mind to clarity. And the universe, like a gentle teacher, watches and waits to see if you will step forward, not in rush, but in rhythm, not in force, but in faith. Perhaps you've carried a vision quietly, one that returns to you in dreams, in silent walks, in those deep moments when your mind rests and your soul speaks. You've felt the pull, the inner knowing that there's more, something you were meant to build, to share, to shape into this world. And yet the voice of doubt arrives. I'm not ready. I don't know how. Maybe later. But 22 does not rush you. It simply stands beside you and says, begin. With what you have, where you are, as you are. In Buddhist teaching, this is the middle way, not too tight, not too loose, not clinging, not neglecting. Just steady presence, just honest effort. What matters is not the size of your action, but the energy behind it. 22 honors those who show up when no one is watching, who plant seeds, not for applause, but because it is time to grow. If this number has crossed your path, on license plates, on phone screens, in repeating moments, it is not by chance. These are not patterns of the mind. They are signals from the deeper currents, an invitation from the unseen to begin building what has already been birthed in spirit. So pause now, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, not in urgency but in quiet reverence, what vision has been waiting patiently in the corners of my soul? What foundation can I begin to lay, not perfectly, but sincerely? What truth is ready to be shaped into form, one mindful brick at a time? Know this, number 22 is not here to dazzle you. It is here to steady you. It is here to whisper. Your life is the temple. Your hands are the tool, and every action made with clarity is sacred construction. Let this be your mantra for the month. I build with patience. I ground with presence. I honor the divine by giving it form. The universe is no longer asking you to wait. It is asking you to begin. Number 5, sacred movement and evolution. Like wind brushing against still waters, number 5 arrives, not with force, but with a quiet shift in direction. It stirs gently at first, barely noticeable, like the soft tension before a wave breaks, or the breath before a new chapter begins. But make no mistake, this number holds momentum. It is movement in sacred disguise, a cosmic nudge that says, you've stayed here long enough, now rise. In the teachings of Buddhist mysticism, 5 holds deep symbolic power. It echoes the 5 skandhas, or aggregates, the pillars of human experience: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These are not fixed. They move, they evolve, and so must you. 5 is the pulse of the living self, reminding us that life is not a structure, but a dance, that stillness has its place, but so does the leap. And perhaps you've already felt it, an unexplained restlessness, a quiet discomfort with the familiar. The old rhythm feels offbeat. The path once comforting now feels too narrow. This is not impatience, this is soul expansion. 5 whispers through your intuition, calling you to shift, to question, to renew. It doesn't demand chaos or dramatic reinvention. No, its power lies in subtlety, a new routine, a bolder conversation, a single decision made from truth instead of fear. This is not about reckless change, it's about sacred change. Change that emerges from alignment, not escape. And this August 2025, as Mercury speeds through the celestial sky, 5's energy surges, mental clarity sharpens, new pathways reveal themselves, but only if you're still enough to notice and brave enough to say yes. Baba Vanga, the silent seer, often spoke of small decisions echoing into great futures. That is the gift of 5. It does not change your life in one stroke, it shifts your direction, just enough to rewrite the story. So let yourself notice what feels tight, what feels false, what no longer nourishes. Let this be the month you step toward your deeper alignment, not with urgency, but with willingness. Walk a new path, even if it's just a different route to work. Say no where you once shrank into yes. Say yes to the invitation that scares you in the best way. Let discomfort guide you, not away, but deeper into your truth. In Buddhist wisdom, the way forward is not paved with certainty, it is walked with presence, with courage, with the gentle but powerful faith that you do not need to know the entire path, you only need to trust the next step. So pause now, breathe with intention, and ask, where am I being asked to evolve? What truth am I avoiding because it challenges my comfort? What small, sacred movement could shift everything I thought was fixed? Let number 5 be your quiet fire, the energy that reminds you your soul was not made to stand still, it was made to unfold. Number 9, completion, closure and soul integration. Number 9 does not arrive with thunder. It walks like an old monk through a morning mist, soft-footed, cloaked in silence, and yet carrying lifetimes of wisdom. It is the final breath of a chapter, the soft exhale before the next inhale begins. Where other numbers build, initiate, or move, 9 simply bows. It closes the loop with reverence. In the sacred rhythm of numerology, 9 is the highest of the single digits, a number that represents not just endings, but evolution. And in the deeper waters of Buddhist thought, it aligns with the understanding that impermanence is not to be mourned, but honored. All things that arise are destined to pass. And within that passage is not punishment, but purification. If you've seen this number, perhaps on a license plate that lingers too long, a digital clock reading 909, or a total of 9,000, know this, something within your life is completing, and it may not be loud, it may not look dramatic, but it is sacred, it is necessary. The karmic wheel is turning, not to remove what you love, but to return you to who you truly are. August 2025 brings this vibration to the surface. As old planetary patterns unwind and Saturn's influence clears ancestral weight, 9 appears like a lantern at dusk. It reminds you that holding on too tightly is not devotion, it is delay, and that true wisdom is not in accumulating, but in knowing when to let go. You might feel the heaviness of release, emotions rising without cause, memories you thought you buried returning with tenderness. This is not regression, it is realignment. Nostradamus once foresaw a time when endings would carry healing instead of sorrow, and 9 is the vibration of that prophecy fulfilled. It doesn't rush you forward, it simply asks you to stand still, look inward, and decide what can now be put to rest. Completion is not always comfortable, but it is kind, because it frees you from what no longer serves, making space for what is trying to arrive. And in the lotus wisdom of the Buddha, we are reminded, the bloom cannot happen without first releasing the mud. So pause, breathe, reflect not only on what you've built, but on what you've outgrown. Ask yourself, gently, What story is finished, even if I've kept reading it out of habit? What part of me longs to be honored, thanked, and then released? What weight am I carrying that is no longer mine to hold? Let number 9 be your soft permission to close the door, to bow to what was, and to trust that what waits beyond is lighter, wiser, and far more aligned with who you are becoming. Because true wealth is not only found in what we gain, but in what we are finally brave enough to let go. Number 3. Expression, joy and emotional truth. It arrives softly like sunlight slipping through closed curtains, waking a part of you that had forgotten how to feel light. Number 3 does not push, it plays. It doesn't confront, it invites, and in doing so, it becomes the sacred laughter beneath the silence, the spontaneous smile that blooms when no one is watching. In the sacred geometry of numerology, 3 is the first number that forms a shape, the triangle. Mind, body, spirit, a holy trinity of balance and aliveness. It is not just about communication, it is the freedom to express your inner world without fear of judgment. It is art without apology, movement without restraint, truth without armor. Perhaps lately, life has asked you to be serious, to be strong, to hold the weight of roles and responsibilities. But number 3 reminds you that joy is not childish, it is divine. In Buddhist philosophy, mudita, unselfish joy, is one of the 4 immeasurables, a vibration so pure, it lifts both the one who feels it and the one who receives it. And in August, amidst the collective heaviness, this number rises like incense in a quiet temple, urging you back to your lightness. Have you silenced your laughter to be accepted, toned down your truth to keep peace? Number 3 says, the time for shrinking is over. Your joy is not frivolous, it is fuel. When you sing, paint, write, speak, or simply breathe, as your full self, you create ripples in the field around you. Joy awakens others, expression liberates energy, and authenticity becomes your most magnetic frequency. In the stillness of this month, give your spirit permission to dance again. Open the journal, hum a melody, say what you've been holding in, not to impress, not to perform, but to free yourself. Remember, joy doesn't mean everything is perfect. It means you are present, and presence is the root of all spiritual connection. So pause, hand over heart, and ask gently, where have I muted my essence to fit into spaces never meant for me? What truth within me is aching to be spoken, not to be heard, but to be honored? And what would shift if I trusted joy as my teacher, not my reward? Let number 3 lead you back to your natural light, the part of you that doesn't need permission to shine. Because the truest spiritual path is not heavy, it is honest, and joy, when lived fully, becomes a sacred offering to the world. If your heart stirred while listening, if something within paused to feel, to breathe, to remember, know that this was no coincidence. You were not drawn here by randomness, nor kept here by curiosity alone. You were called, gently, invisibly, by something older than memory. These numbers you've received, they are not trends, they are transmissions, not ideas, but invitations, not outside of you, but woven into the very path your soul agreed to walk long before this lifetime ever began. Each number was more than sound, more than symbol. It was a frequency, a mirror, a gentle flame, illuminating a piece of you that was waiting to rise. Perhaps you didn't even know it until now, until something clicked softly, powerfully, and you felt the unmistakable whisper, this message is. These are not predictions, they are reflections, from number 22's grounded wisdom, to the gentle expression of 3, from the sacred closure of 9, to the magnetic flow of 66, and the golden frequency of 77, echoing through destiny itself. This sequence has not just been heard, it has been remembered. The universe speaks in vibrations, karma speaks in cycles. Your soul speaks in knowing, and right now, they all converge here, in you, around you, through you. You are not just watching a video, you are part of an unfolding, you are part of a remembering. So take a sacred pause right now. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, and allow what you've just received to settle into your body, like golden light finding a home in your cells. Then, when you are ready, type in the comments, not for the algorithm, but for your alignment. I am ready, I am open, I align with the numbers of my path. Let that be your vow. Let it echo through your energy field. Let it ripple outward to every hidden blessing that's been waiting for your yes. Tap the like button as a sacred gesture, not to follow, but to flow. Subscribe to Old Buddhist Philosophy, not just for more insight, but to stay anchored in this unfolding, to walk beside others who are also waking up, remembering, evolving. And if your heart was moved, offer Dana a spiritual gift without expectation. Whether that means sharing this video, helping another seeker, or simply sitting in silent gratitude, give from the heart. For what is given in presence, returns in grace. You are not behind, you are not lost, you are precisely where the energy needs you to be. You are not being asked to become someone new, you are being invited to remember who you've always been, and to live from that remembrance with clarity, with purpose, with love. This is your time now, the turning of the wheel, the alignment of the sky, the sacred season of deep seeing. Let the numbers walk with you, not as signs to chase, but as truths to embody. Let your life become the ritual, let your choices become the altar, and let your spirit, finally, come home. We'll meet again in the next sacred message. Until then, walk gently, speak truthfully, and listen deeply, because the universe is still speaking, and now, you know how to hear it.